Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the West Ham Network. You've just witnessed West Ham draw 2-2 with Burnley at home. Do you know what? I am angry, and I'm rightly so angry because it's a game of two halves, and I don't know why. If we play like that in the first half, we beat Burnley. We put Burnley to bed. We absolutely do. If we play like we played in the second half, if we change the dynamics, we change the team, if we play those players in the second half like we did or in the first half like we did in the second half, we would turn over Burnley. So I don't understand the tactics behind putting that team out and having that dross football that we played in the first half. That is hard, again, to defend because we should not, unfortunately, be walking away with a point at home against Burnley, who are bottom of the league. We should not. We should not. And what we've seen in the second half is when you make substitutions, when you play the players who can get forward, who can create opportunities, that we can do something with the ball. It happened from the first 10 seconds. We were on the front foot and we were not pressing. Okay, yes, I get it. They're 2-0 up. They're going to try and defend that lead as much as they possibly can. But we can't go into games like that with teams against that and do the low block. It doesn't make sense to me at all whatsoever. So I'm frustrated because we should be talking here now with 3 points won at the end of the game. And I am baffled and just really pissed off. Just really pissed off. Also, equally, I don't understand why they didn't check the handball at the end. I also don't understand the offside. I don't think I've seen enough of the offside thing as well. But I think we should have won the game from the end output. I think I heard fucking some stupid commentator say that Burnley should have actually won the game, or was that 2 points dropped from them? In actual fact, no, it was our mentality. It's West Ham's mentality that has the effect of how we know this game is going to go. And so we knew how this game was going to go because we sat back. When we sit back and allow a team at one point in the first half, Burnley, bottom of the league, had 68% possession in that game. At one point in that game, that's how much possession they had against the rest of ours. And I don't know why we do it. I don't know why we put ourselves in those situations to allow teams like Burnley, bottom of the league, again, I have to say it, to turn up and do a job over us. Eventually, we did turn the possession over, but that was because we played in a specific way in the second half. We took the game to them, and we shouldn't be taking the game to them. We shouldn't have to take the game to them. It should be our decision. It should be how we do it. I see there's so many comments in here, and we will talk about it in a second. We are going to be going live to the London Stadium, so we'll get Russ's point of view as well. But for me, it's 2 points dropped, even though we didn't have it. And I see some of the comments talking about decisions. We shouldn't rely on refereeing decisions. The but is right. And the question I'll ask you is that second half performance deserves something from the game. So we got something from the game. And it was a relentless approach in the second half. But for you and me as the West Ham fan, that's what we want all the game, all the first 45 minutes. And we just didn't allow them to do it. In actual fact, I didn't realize I could do this, but 51% possession to Burnley in the first half to West Ham's 49%. They had 4 shots to West Ham's 3. I think I've got another interesting thing here. So they outpassed us in the first half, 250 passes they made to West Ham's 240. And I don't know why we had to rely heavily on panic in the second half. Very, very, very frustrating. It is frustrating. It's the only way I could put it. And I don't know. Yeah, it is what it is, I suppose, isn't it? Yeah, again, Moyes' tactics wrong. We should have been playing first half like the second. And I don't know why. I don't know what the mindset is. Maybe he believes we've got enough in the tank to be able to do the job, but we don't. We blatantly don't. And I don't understand it. I don't understand why it is. I don't understand why there was no VAR for the handball. And I know we shouldn't rely on those decisions, but it is football at the end of the day, so we should rely on those decisions. Obviously, I need to see back the offside for the Danny Ings goal that's chested down from Antonio. They're saying the line is stating that he is offside. I don't get it, and I don't actually get it. But anyway, Matt B says robbed again. Why so hard to beat the bottom club at home? That was a handball. Scumbag VAR again. I don't know why. You know, apparently the rule is if they restart the game, they can never go back and check it. And I wonder if they've restarted the game too quickly, especially at the end of the game. Sat back in the first half, lost it ourselves. Then we did. We lost it in the first half. We lost that game, or we lost those 2 points in the first half. How was that offside, by the way? It wasn't offside, Ben. Moyes, what a pew pew. Everyone knows they attempt to play at the back, but they are poor at it. Teams have pressed them and have benefited. They are bottom by accident. And that's the best way to put it, Trini. It's true. They're not bottom by accident. They do press. But what they do is they press us and leave themselves free at the back. But what we were doing was when we were getting the ball, we were punting the ball from distance so far forward, and it was getting nowhere. It was getting nowhere. We do have a problem. Like, our biggest problem in this team, apart from David Moyes, as people may say, is defence. Mavropanos had one of his worst games in a West Ham shirt today. He really was not good. He really wasn't at the races. Moyes is to blame. He can't keep playing each game the same way. Antonio wasn't interfering when the goal was scored. Moyes is a fake and a fraud, as we knew 2 seasons ago. Shame only us realistic, passionate fans can see it. Moyes, lucky again, Mavro. Horse said weeks and weeks and weeks ago, VAR decision like that do not go for us. They never, ever do. They never, ever do. VAR is okay. It's just for jokers using it. It was our fault. Can't blame the ref. Our first half was awful, and I don't understand it. That's really what it comes down to. A game of 2 halves, but we can. It falls on our own laps. It's our own fault that the game went the way it is because we didn't play with. We allowed Burnley a point. We gave Burnley a point. We respected the opposition. That's the best way to do it. We respected the opposition too much. We respected bottom of the league too much. Honestly, it's a little bit like you're playing top of the league. And, you know, back in the old days when you turned up and you came up against Manchester City, you went, please, just take it easy on us. Just take it easy on us. As long as you don't score more than 5 goals, there you go. You can have the win. That's sometimes like what it's like, but we're playing bottom of the league. And it's a little bit like, do you know what? Have the ball. Let's play a little bit of football. You can have a couple of goals and we'll work hard to come back. And maybe that's what's going to give us the kick up the arse. But it's not what we want to see. Should not be waiting for a decision after 98 minutes. Have to be beating poor teams. Palace, Forest, Sheffield United far too often. How are we 7th? We're 7th because of the early part of our season, and we need to try and find that form somehow or another. But, you know, what's frustrating is, and we know this ourselves, Tougher, is that second half we have seen before. And if we can play, see if we play 75 minutes, 80 minutes with that level of commitment, we will turn those teams that you're talking about over. But we don't. We invite them on, and I don't get it, and rely heavily on the counter and rely heavily on the long balls. I think, honestly, if I'm going to look at some of the stats here today, right, in terms of the long balls. So 2 of the particular players that played probably the most long balls in this game were Mavropanos and Agerd, who I thought both had a really crap game today. So their long balls, Agerd attempted 12 long balls and was successful with 3 of them. Mavropanos attempted 7 and was successful with none. So there's 19 long balls attempted from our 2 centre halves, and only 2 met their destination. That is a ridiculous stat. And if you're relying on a low block and you're relying on a counter, you can't have those stats as your stats. To make matters worse, Calvin Phillips obviously started the game. He was attempting long balls. Let me see here. He only connected with 1 of them from 4 attempts. So now you're up to 23 long ball attempts, and 3 made their destination. Only 3 made their destination. It's not a tactic that's working for West Ham, so it doesn't add up. It really doesn't add up. That was a Stonewall penalty. Well, it was. Antonio was offside, not Ings. Shouldn't be relying on VAR. Get real. We should have beaten this team easy. Everything is in Moyes. No questions about it. All we seem to do is complain about the decisions rather than focus on scoring more goals than the opposition. You can't blame the ref and the VAR. We're real proper fans and we're angry. Make you poo-poo. What's the poo-poo thing? I can't keep saying it. Poo-poo. He got cheated again. How many times does it have to happen before something is done about it? Please get Tim Arnie slot as he likes to attack. Wasn't his arm keeping him on side? We played 7-3 first half. Have to ask yourself why. Fair play to Danny Ings. I want to see him play Thursday. Yeah, but do you know what? I'll happily see him play if we play that attacking style of football. But if we don't play that attacking style of football, there's no point in seeing him. There's no point in seeing him. Fair play to Burnley for keeping our biggest threats in the first half at bay. They were all over Kudus. They were all over Bowen. They were all over Paketa. They kept our attacking threats at bay in that first half, so they were clever at doing it. Trini says if we had played the first half or even 75% of the game like that, we'd beat them easily. I completely concur with you. I completely agree with you. And it is extremely frustrating, like that as well. But let me bring this man in.
The Wally with the brolly.
Wally with the brolly. Talk to me,
mate. Lovely, beautiful day at East London. Yeah. So annoying. So annoying, wasn't it? We made it so hard on ourselves. Second half, I mean, it's almost like it's almost two different games, isn't it? Really, the first half and the second half. Really, first half we were atrocious, and second half it shows what we can do. We play better when it's chaos. Do you know what I mean? We play so much better when it's chaos, and like second half it was just chaos. See, and could have easily got 4 or 5 really in that second half. It shows. I
find it really odd though, because some of the comments are really true. You know, Burnley aren't bottom of the league. They're bottom of the league for a reason, right? So they like to press teams. Company we know likes to press teams. So that means they'll commit bodies forward, right? I've got an issue with West Ham's big long ball game that we're trying, and it's never effective. I just don't know if you missed what I said there at the start there, Russ. But our 2 centre halves, between them, attempted 19 long balls today.
Yeah.
They connected with 2 of them. They got to their destination with 2 of them. So it was ineffective. When we were punting that ball forward from the back line in the first half, it was ineffective. It wasn't working, but we kept doing it. And then what happened was they were pressing our defence, and then we were forced to do the long balls, and then they committed bodies forward. So when they came on a counter, their players were already there. And then in the second half, like you said, we made the substitutions, we made the changes.
Yeah.
Game changing. But when you're playing bottom of the league, you need to do that from the start. You need to have that energy from the start. And I can understand the frustration, because to me, we lost that game, Russ, on that game, not lost that game. That point, or the loss of 2 points, is actually on Moyes. It's completely on Moyes, because the tactical change in the second half has proven that it worked. But the decision to play the style of play in the first half has proven it didn't work.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, totally agree, mate. Totally agree, mate. Makes perfect sense. You're right. We were set up wrong at the beginning, and it's fun. I mean, you know, God, you know, Mavropanos was probably my man of the match last week, and God,
probably one of
how many
his
times he lost the ball? Yes, he lost. Oh, probably his work. Yeah, exactly. From hero to zero, really. If you call him a hero from Thursday. Yeah, it just seemed like the first half, like nothing was clicking, and Burnley came out. I mean, you know, came out of the traps, getting the goal so early. It really just sort of took the wind out of ourselves. But what would have been interesting would be what would have happened if would Moyes have kept the same formation in the second half if we weren't losing? Do you know what I mean? It was almost like, would he have kept with his game plan rather than, you know, making 2 subs at half time, which he rarely does unless he's really in the shit. And it was the right 2 subs, to be honest. He actually, for once, did the right thing. You know, Phillips was having a great game. JOP was stuck out in the left wing, quite ineffective because obviously Paqueta was moving more into the 10 role. And it made perfect sense. And we just looked a completely different side. And with Antonio as a focal point, see, that's my issue with Bowen up front sometimes. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. When it doesn't, you've got to switch up a bit and put Antonio in and then drop Bowen to the right-hand side. He looked a different player, you know?
He was a completely different player. He was so effective when he went out there, and he was causing them major problems. They couldn't keep up with him. And listen, I can't fathom really the decision making why we're going in at the bottom of the table at home and sitting back and allowing them. At one point, Russ, early on, I think 20 minutes into the game, Burnley had 68% possession of the ball 20 minutes into the start of the game. That shouldn't be happening at home on our home turf. West Ham sitting so low and trying long balls, because our long balls, again, like I said, were ineffective. But you make those substitutions in the second half. You bring Antonio on. The difference in the game was shape-up was different. Paquetá, straight away, bang, goal on the off from the second half. The energy's there, the va-va-voom's there. And you feel like our momentum to try and get into this game was lost, because we did have a couple of chances. If we could have converted one of those chances, we probably would have gone on to win.
We're live. What do you think of the game? Shocking. Yeah, it was, didn't it? VAR of this. What's your name, man? Ryan. Nice to meet you, Ross.
It looks like Declan Rice.
You look like a Declan Rice, a ginger Declan Rice.
He does, mate. He does.
Good man. Just for the picture. It's got a patch, how it works. It's just frustrating, wasn't it? Because they were there for the taking, and you can see they were getting narky, they were getting nervous, they were tensing up, particularly when the first goal went in. And then Danny Ings, fucking hell, he ran a hat-trick in 10 minutes.
But that's the thing, though. People are saying, oh, Danny Ings has done enough in that performance to start. But it doesn't matter. No. But the point I'm trying to make is it doesn't actually matter who starts, because if you don't play like that in the second half, no matter who you are up top, it's going to be ineffective.
It's totally right. There's no point in playing, because he's just as short as Darren Bowen. They're so different. If you're playing that way, you have to play Antonio, really, because you're against two massive centre halves. We know Shea's massive, about 2 foot taller than Bowen, he looked like, and he looked like that throughout the first half. Second half, he had a bit of, in terms of Antonio, a bit of a battle. Then made more sense. It worked, and then that diagonal run that Bowen makes off the wing, sort of between the right back, their left back, and their centre half. 3 or 4 times we got the ball in there, and they just looked. It's just so much better when you play with a target man. Now sometimes Bowen works up front of his own. It works. Maybe when the defence isn't so physical. But for games like that, not the right day. It's a wet ball, wet pitch. You want someone to come in just, and I think Antonio came on, did all right, again, lost the ball half a dozen times like he always does. But
Russ, a lot of, I know people saying we shouldn't rely on it, but the handball at the end, why? Yeah. What was your thoughts on it? I mean, it probably was a handball.
I thought it was, and I didn't get it. Didn't get why there wasn't a look for it. I've been funny, man. It's been a fucking 5-minute look on Thursday, wasn't it? Same as Sheffield United game, last at Bramall Lane, the last minutes, and here, I thought it was, but the ref waved off straight away, which I didn't understand. Sure, at such a critical stage, you would have a look anyway, or you'd, obviously a break in play, but I didn't get it, and I don't think the players caused too much of a stink at the time. It's only when the game had finished they caused a stink about it. But it was, again, it shouldn't be in that position to having to rely on VAR. It's almost like you don't want to rely on it because it will never come to your aid. I mean,
Ross, how many fans left early doors?
I didn't see many, I'll be honest. But to be honest, it wasn't a packed out game today. Obviously, it's been pissing down. It's Mother's Day. I know a lot of people. The train's all fucked as always. It wasn't a capacity crowd at all, but it wasn't noticeable. I'm sure some people wouldn't have left, but to be honest, I was a bit busy doing some fucking silly half-time game. But I had a look. Could be seen many, so in my vicinity, many people around me leaving. That's all.
Let me read this comment. Victor says some fans tell us that we should be happy for what Moyes has done because he's won us a cup, but he could have won them more and could have been more ambitious. But the thing is, Victor, I don't think many fans can stick up for a performance like that today. This isn't a respect the point. This isn't a respect the point conversation. This is we lost that game in the first half because of the decisions that the manager made. That is, no one can defend that today. Absolutely not. You can't defend that. You can defend the second half, and the frustration of the West Ham fans should be, why the hell do you not play like that in the first half. But someone said here in the comments, we don't have a decent centre half, and I genuinely believe we don't, Russ. I don't think we do.
I mean, it's as you said, yes. On Thursday, Mavropanos was fantastic. Zoom was shit. Today, I thought again was okay. I thought he hadn't played for a few weeks. He was finding his range. When he found his range of passing, particularly crossfield balls to Super, he picked out a couple of good dingers. But then you got Mavropanos, and I think again was tired towards the end. That's why one of the reasons why Danny came on. He was sitting to the bench about 5 minutes beforehand. So we just don't have two consistent centre halves. Do you know what I mean? They never play consistently well as a pair. It's always one plays better than the other. So like on Thursday, Mav played better than Zuma. Today, Aguirre played better than Mav. Don't know what's happened on Thursday. Whether he's going to go back to Aguirre and Zuma, maybe. I don't know. I just found it really, really frustrating at the moment because we've got some good players. Particularly.
Yeah, we really do. Phillips doesn't look at the races at all, does he?
No. I think today was a perfect game for him to come in and get some minutes. Southgate was here, decent performance, and he got a few tackles in and stuff, but just doesn't seem fit. Doesn't seem match fit. You can be physically fit, but the lack of game time at Man City rather, is obvious. Just doesn't look like he's up to match speed. And against the Burnley side who are going to be pressing you and stuff, they're not going to let you stay on the ball. And they made the right decision to take him off at half time. And again,
Russ,
JLP as well. Half-time.
Yeah, I mean, nothing really coming from there. Russ, how do we move on from here? How do we move on from a 2-2 draw against bottom of the league Burnley? We've got a massive tie against Freiburg at home on Thursday at such an awkward time, which doesn't help. The other thing I'll say is you can't help and a big shout out to the fans in the second half, because when West Ham perform, the fans perform, and the noise levels in that second half in particular were through the roof.
They were so noisy second half, particularly there was a space as a sort of period of about 5 or 6 minutes where we were really sort of doing some lovely passing, and don't take a lot to get the fans going.
No.
It's not take a lot, rightly so. The 2-0 against 2 down team, but they were just so much more. I mean, so second half, just the fans are brilliant. They're brilliant. They gave them plenty of encouragement. The last 5 minutes as well, particularly when it's at 8 minutes to go. It was like we'd scored the third goal, So it was. And we did score a third goal, but
Moyes' negativity is there for the team.
In terms of how we move on, well, we have to. We just have to.
Yeah. Moyes' negativity is effing the team and the club big time. His ego is ruining everything. We move on by sacking Moyes. Season's gone already. No chance of 7th Euro Tour is over. We'll do this well to finish 12th in the league. Yeah, I know that. Russ, I'm losing you a little bit, mate. Ogbonna couldn't do worse. Russ doing a Norman Collier impressions, and Phillips back to Man City. Salford may have him at a push. He's not up to snuff. 40 million for a waste of time doing the ratings. Only in the Premier League do fans wait for the team to play well before making a noise. Every other country, the fans make noise regardless. Premier League is like a library. I do agree with you there, Trini, 100%. There definitely is that kind of element in the Premier League. Listen, we'll let you go. It's Mother's Day. Go try and make the most of your weekend. And Russ, we'll be back over the coming days, giving you our kind of take on the game, because we prepare ourselves for a massive tie in the round of 16 at home against Freiburg. So, final word, Russ.
On to Thursday afternoon. Good luck.
On to Thursday afternoon. Take it easy, everyone. Thanks for watching. And, of course, come on, you Irons.